Hi, this is Diane from dianescards.com. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to show you how to create a plaid pattern as I did on this baby card. Use the Sponge Brayers on some Whisper White cardstock. So here is when I did the original one, I did it on 11 by 4 1/4, then just cut off what I needed. So this is a combination of Marina Mist and Mint Macaron. And as I said, I used my Sponge Brayers. They come in a box where you get 2 brayers and you get 2 extra sponges. And I have to confess, one of the sponges I cut in half to see if I could do a narrow plaid. And I'm still working on it, but here's one that I did with Pear Pizzazz and Blushing Bride. You can see it turned out cute. It's a little bit harder to control, so I'm working on that. I want to show you some other samples that I have. And this one is Night of Navy and Real Red, always a popular color combination. This one is Cajun Craze and Crushed Curry. And I don't know what I did there. I have to figure that out. I think it was something on the ink pad. This one I like very much. This is Crushed Curry and Flirty Flamingo. Isn't that a pretty combination? I love those colors. So today I'm going to do Night of Navy and Daffodil Delight to show you how to do this. It's really pretty easy with your Sponge Brayers. So you're going to need cardstock, obviously. Now for the demonstration, I cut this one a little bit shorter. Ordinarily, I would do a large piece this big and do all the brayering, then cut off what I need for my card. You obviously need the inks. As I said, in this one I'm going to use Night of Navy and Daffodil Delight. By the way, I have found that if I use this for light colors, it's fine. Once you're finished brayering, the ink is pretty much dry. It's not going to bleed onto your other colors or whatever. But I tend to keep some, like this is my dark colors, this is my pinks, and this one I started using for blues, although I had the darker one. So you're going to need ink, you're going to need your brayers, cardstock, and the other secret is washi tape, because this, you don't want this moving around, obviously, while you're brayering. And then the final thing is to take a piece of chipboard. I actually used a piece of cardboard that came in one of the packages of designer paper. The glimmer paper mostly comes with this heavier, because you want to block off an inch, or in some cases an inch and a half at a time. So the last thing you need is a paper mat or some kind of mat blocked off on inches. I happen to be using one of my paper pumpkin ones today, but if you have our regular Stampin' Up! Mats or one of the paper pumpkin ones, that's fine. Because I want to start on the right side, I made sure this edge was smack up to an inch line. Doesn't matter which one, but I just happened to line it up at the 11-inch line. Then I'm going to put this down at the 10-inch line. I'm going to match up the top and the bottom. And I'm going to start with, it doesn't matter which color you start with, by the way. I'm going to start with the yellow. Now, when we used to have the plastic brayers, they always told you just go one direction, and so I guess I'm still in that habit. I don't know whether it's actually leaving any ink there or not. So I want to hold this down. I've got this taped down here so it's not going to move, and I want to hold my mask, I guess you'd call it, here so that I don't move. And then I'm just going to brayer away here. I must have had that really nicely inked up. And then open up your other one. Just put that aside carefully. It's all I can do not to close it every time, but I'm controlling myself. I'm going to move down an inch. Now, I guess if I were a purist, I would cover this up with something, but I don't, and it seems to be okay. I'm going to just be careful, and it's not the worst thing in the world if it overlaps a little bit just like that, which it didn't do when I was doing them before I made the video, but that's the way it goes. So we're just going to go up and down, and I'm going to try to do this a little bit quickly because it's got to be a little boring watching me just brayer colors on here. So, but you get the idea. You go back and forth and back and forth. And that one maybe is a little bit lighter than I really wanted, but let's just do one more. That one's better. And my thought is, even if there's a little white showing, it doesn't bother me, because it's really just a little and it's not going to show. So I'm not going to do the whole thing with you because, as I said, that's pretty boring. I have one that I've already finished. Now this time I'm going to line it up again on one of the inches. This is one that I finished. And again, it doesn't matter where you start. I'm going to do this here for now, but I'll move it at some point. So I have it at 10. I'm going to move it, this mask, down to 9, match it at the top and the bottom. And let's start with the blue. And you want to really make sure you get this really inked up, because you want the blue part to be really dark. I shouldn't say really. You want it to be dark. So this actually takes a little bit longer. I like it to be dark. You maybe don't want that. Now I'm going to move it over an inch. Ooh, isn't it? You can see that contrast already. And now I'm going to do the Daffodil Delight. Now I'm going to be a little bit careful here next to the blue. Again, if it goes over a little bit. But see, that really makes the Daffodil Delight pop out. Can you see the difference here and here? Okay, now I'm going to do blue. Now, again, I'm not going to do this whole thing because you're smart. You get the idea. Okay, let's just do one more. All right. As I said, I'm not going to finish the whole thing. You get the idea. But at some point, you're going to remove this carefully because you don't want to pull up any of the cardstock. But that's why we like washi tape. And perhaps move it to this side, so that when you do those last couple of parts, you're not going into the, you're not missing an area because of the washi tape. So that's it for brayered plaid. I hope you enjoy it and use this technique. As I said, here's a card that I finished with the plaid background for a little baby card for baby boy. And I think it's a nice effect. Doesn't take too long, and I think it's not too complicated. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you have a good day and have a lot of fun stamping. Thank you.